Tonight you're going to go one step further and deal with equations with parentheses. Now the first step in solving any equation is to first make each expression simpler. And by doing that, you may have to distribute. You may have to combine like terms. So tonight we're going to add in the process of getting rid of parentheses. So let's start with our first example. Our first example is 3 times the quantity x minus 2 equals 12. In this problem, we want to get rid of our parentheses first. So we're going to do distributive property, which you've already done. We're going to distribute the 3. That means I have to take 3 times both the x and the minus 2. So 3 times x would give me 3x. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And that equals 12. Now all you do is follow inverse operations. So I'm going to add 6. That would give me what? 3x equals 18. That's correct. Now what do? Divide by 3. And so your answer is going to be x equals 6. Very basic, a very easy problem. You have to distribute and then solve the equation as you have done in the past. Example number 2. 6x minus 3 times the quantity 4 minus 5x equals 30. Step 1. We have to distribute. So in this problem, here is a common mistake. People think that you have to distribute a 3. That is not true. It is a negative 3 that you have to distribute. So please be careful when you are distributing that you distribute the entire number, which is a negative 3, not a 3. So this will give us 6x. We don't do anything with that. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. And here is another very easy mistake. People want to take negative 3 times negative 5 and get 15x, or negative 15x. A negative times a negative is a positive. So negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15x equals 30. Now we are going to combine like terms. Combine like terms, they're on the same side, so I just add them together. 6x plus 15x gives me 21x minus 12 equals 30. Solve it with using inverse operations. We're going to add 12 on both sides. That gives me 21x equals 42. Divide by 21. X equals the quantity 2. So x equals 2. Example number 3. 2x plus 3 times the quantity 4 minus 2x equals 2 times the quantity x plus 3. In this problem, how many times are you going to have to do the distributive property? It's going to be twice, because you have 2 sets of parentheses to get rid of. So the first thing we have to do is, what are we going to distribute? We're going to distribute a 3. We also have to distribute a 2. So step 1, get rid of the parentheses by distributing. 2x plus, what's 3 times 4? 12. And 3 times minus 2x, or negative 2x? Minus 6x. What would you get if you would distribute the 2? It would be 2x plus 6. Now, this is the part a lot of people forget. Combine like terms first. Each side has an expression. So I want to combine the 2x minus 6x. So a 2x and a negative 6x gives you negative 4x plus 12 equals 2x plus 6. The next step, get the variable on one side. So I'm going to add 4x. So I'm going to add 4x. Now you don't have to do these exact same steps. You could have moved the 2x over. So if I add 4x to both sides, that would give me 12 equals 6x plus 6. Now I'm going to subtract 6. That gives me 6 equals 6x. I'm isolating the variable. The opposite of times 6 is divide by 6. So my value of x is going to be 1. Our last example. Negative 4 minus, in parentheses, 8 plus 2m equals negative 3 times 1 plus 4m. Step 1, we're going to distribute. All right, so what are we going to distribute on the left side? Now be careful. You're not going to distribute a negative 4 because there's a minus here. Remember, this is a minus 1. So we're distributing a negative 1. So if you take negative 1 times 8 and negative 1 times 2m, so that would give me negative 4. Negative 1 times 8 is a minus 8, or a negative 8. Negative 1 times 2m is negative 2m. All it does is change the signs. Equals. Distribute a negative 3. Negative 3 times 1, we have negative 3. Negative 3 times 4. Now here's what some people do, which is completely acceptable. Some people want to take negative 3 times 4, put negative 12, but then they put plus negative 12. Let's try not to do that anymore, because it's going to save you some steps down the road. So negative 3 times 4m is just going to give you negative 12m. So I write it as minus 12m, because a negative 12m minus 12m mean the exact same thing. So next step, combine like terms. Negative 4 and a negative 8. That gives me negative 12 minus 2m equals negative 3 minus 12m. I now want to get the variable on one side. So I'm going to look here, and the smallest m, so is negative 12. So I'm going to add 12m, add 12m. So that gives me negative 12. Negative 2m plus 12m gives me 10m. Different signs, remember I subtract them, equals negative 3. Now you follow the same steps as before. Add 12, add 12. That gives me 10m equals, what's 12 minus 3, or negative 3 plus 12? Different signs I subtract. And now I divide both sides by 10. M equals, you could divide 9 divided by 10, or just leave it as the fraction, 9/10. So remember, your steps of review, what we went over today. Step 1, get rid of parentheses by distributing. Step 2, combine like terms. Step 3, move the variable to one side of the equation. And the last step is to solve for the variable using inverse operations.